Welcome to. I mean, obviously tonight it's gonna be the late night show. Kitty's gonna be in bed, school back in order, but had to go live tonight because it's Tuesday night. Told you I'd be back. I'm not gonna lie to you people. Got my guys with me, EJ Danes. What's up, E?
What's going on?
Got my guy Mookie Hawkins. You understand about the dreads, my man Mook.
Late
Wolf on
night.
1080.
We late night tonight, baby. What's up?
We late night. We late night. Yeah, we're gonna talk about this home opener. Got the Steelers coming to town. Not too long ago, this would be a scary matchup for us. But I ain't too. I'm not too afraid about this one. So I'm curious to get you gentlemen's opinion about that matchup tonight. So
Uh oh yeah, go ahead. My bad.
no, you go ahead, man. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I
go
was
ahead.
just gonna say that the Steelers lost a lot of pieces on their offensive line. First and foremost,
Mm,
they don't have the same continuity across their O line like they had once before. They drafted Najee Harris from Alabama, the running back in the first round. So that tells me that they're gonna have a more run heavy approach. They have a new offensive coordinator,
mm.
Matt Canada, and so they're gonna be trying to push the ball downfield more. Um, they also had the most drops in the league of any team in the NFL last year too, so that's something to keep an eye on. But I think after looking at the game and watching it back, I think the Bills will handle them pretty easily. They also lost a lot of their defensive side. T.J. Watt may not play. They lost Mike Hilton. They lost Mike Hilton, who made a lot of plays in that game too. So this isn't the same Steelers team that the Bills faced in Week 14.
What you got, Mook?
Well, let's keep in mind that we beat the Steelers twice in a row. You know what I mean? So let's not forget that fact. Um, yeah, it's going to be some continuities, I believe, up front with Pittsburgh. They do have Najee Harris. They do have the dynamic running back. I get that, but in this day and era, it's all about continuity. It's all about familiarity. It's going to be a different speed for him, with his first crack at, starters, what I mean, in a football game. So that speed is going to be different. There's going to be a lot of other guys that's freaks of nature out there. So, I know they're going to rely a lot on the run game and, using him as a threat in the passing game as well because he can catch the football. So, um, but let's just keep in mind they still do have Clay Claypool. They still have Juju Smith-Schuster. They still have Deontay Johnson, who you're right. He did have problems with dropping, the football last year. Another year of maturity, another year of concentration. I mean, he has that familiarity with Ben Roethlisberger. So Ben is going to stick to the guys that he know. They also have another dynamic tight end and Fairmouth. So, he does have some weapons. You have Eric Ebron that's still there. So this game is not going to be as easy as a lot of people would think it would be. But I do think the Bills will still have enough weapons to pull it up.
I gotta agree. I mean, I just don't think this is a game that the Bills should lose. As you mentioned all those things, Ricky running back, brand new offensive line, contract holdout. I mean, as my man said in the chat earlier, I don't know if I think it was Travis said JJ Watt is a soft tissue injury waiting to happen. That's what happens. That's what happens when you hold out. All right. I mean, nothing scares me about this game. I mean, I, I feel like having Emmanuel Sanders, having Stephon Diggs, having these weapons that we have in the passing game, that we're gonna do just what Tom Brady used to do to them. Spread them out, get them out of that 3-4 pass rush, and and honestly make them uncomfortable. We know Pittsburgh, they ain't gonna do nothing different than they did the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has changed.
And
The
again,
biggest thing,
yeah. Oh, go ahead, Mook.
the biggest thing that I want to see, that was kind of like a storyline from the last time these guys faced each other was third down.
Mm.
At time the Bills did struggle with getting teams off the field on third down. I think it was like 14% they held Pittsburgh to on third down. You know what I mean? So I want to see if the Bills, still have the recipe for getting the Steelers off the field on third down because that's a key stat. You can go and take a look at it. Last year, third down percentage was 14%. So
Mm.
that was major. I want to see, what's going to happen on third down in week one matchup.
What also was big too was time of possession. I think Buffalo controlled the ball for 35 minutes of the game
Mhm.
compared to Pittsburgh 24. So that was huge. And by the way, if you guys are watching this show tonight, man, do us a favor. You see in that right hand corner up there, it has a big thumb that says like. So like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. Like on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. Like on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. All right, we're gonna make that a thing. We're gonna make that a thing, man. You know,
Man.
no, but oh yeah, guys, don't forget. It's I see Dan Gabino in here with the Mafia Homecoming Party.
Yes,
so
sir.
who is rocking with us this Friday? Who's rocking out with us? If you don't know what I'm talking about, shame on you because we mentioned it. But I'll remind you because you only got a couple days to buy your tickets. This Friday, Mafia Homecoming Party, second annual, 5 hours open bar. That's well drinks, food and raffles. Do not be coming here trying to buy no Ciroc. Open bar, it ain't gonna happen. Door prizes, raffles, 50-50 vendors is more gonna be Bills, Baffia's Babes there, the tie-dye there, Buffalo AF is gonna be there. It's gonna be a lot of people. It's gonna be a good time. Oh yeah, and by the way, it is hosted by no other than my man, the Savage A Will 23. Aaron Williams is gonna be in the building. So make sure you are there. You ain't gonna miss this party. The first one was dope. We had to skip over because COVID ruined the second one last year. So we had to extend it here. That's okay. It's another year plan to be bigger and better. But back to this game. Yes. Deontay Johnson dropped a lot of balls last year. But I gotta know who's you guys players to key in on. Because for me, it's Deontay Johnson. I think he's going to be a transcendent receiver in this league. I think he's ready for a breakout year. If Ben Roethlisberger's arm doesn't fall off first. But end of the day, I think he's the player to watch on their offense.
There's
Go ahead.
My bad.
Quick to the draw. Let's go. What you got?
There's a couple players that I'm watching. After I rewatched the game, Cam Hayward almost destroyed the Bills' game plan by himself. You know, he had 9 pressures and 1 tackle for loss. He was a force that game. They could not do anything with him in that first half. So that's the player I'm watching. Also Chase Claypool. You know, I don't think he was 100% in that game. He really didn't have a huge impact, but I think this time around he's going to be a lot more involved. I think they're going to move him around.
He already got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he out for? Because I think he got hurt at the beginning of training camp, and now he's coming back, right?
I don't know. All I know, he ain't 100% again, man. That's ankle.
So that's a guy too. And then Mookie mentioned it too. Pat Firemouth, man. They finally got a tight end that I like who can actually catch the ball. Eric Ebron has been plagued. Their whole team is just plagued with drops consistently. So those are 3 players that I'm watching: Cam Hayward, Claypool, and Pat Firemouth. Those are guys to watch and to be mindful of in this game.
This is on top of several other members.
All right.
Coming from the conservative right.
Yeah. Oh wait, somebody watching TV in the broadcast. Somebody just messaged me. Said, man, they can hear TV in the background.
Oh yeah, I'm watching CNN.
Who you watch?
Mookie getting that daily news.
Yeah, I didn't even hear it.
Yeah, I gotta
get his daily. He gotta get his daily.
Who you watching this late, Mookie? Irv Weinstein?
My man Don Lemon right now. CNN.
Mookie trying to keep up with the pandemic. It's all good.
I gotta know. I mean, the season is going on.
Why
I need to know. You know, something might happen in the blink of an eye. We might be going back to Zooms. What's going on?
Oh man.
While Mookie getting his TV together, let me get some shout outs in the chat. Cody Wells, shout out to you. Jeremy, shout out to you. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I ain't gonna butcher it, man. Mike Backbone 5 at YouTube in there. Evan Zinger's in here. My man Spoons, Daniel Robinson, man. TC Pride, stand up was good. Spoons and Mafia Homecoming Party, man. That's Dan Gabino over there. Mafia Homecoming Party. He getting that last minute marketing in. I blame it. Let's get it. So,
I think
who's your key player to watch?
Mookie.
My key player to watch on the Bills.
Yeah.
Well, I said it, before. Defensively, you can watch DeMar Hamlin. I think he's going to get some quality minutes.
Think getting burnt?
Yeah. I think he's going to get some quality minutes out there because Jaquan Johnson is still hurt. So you got Saran Neal, but I think he's more or less backing up Teron Johnson. So let me see here. I have the depth chart right here. Yep. So, that's how we got that. We got Sarandil backing up Teron Johnson. So you have Dane Jackson is basically back up to both cornerbacks, and DeMar Hamlin basically is backing up Jordan Poyer. So we know, that third safety gets some tick in Coach McDermott's scheme. So player to watch is DeMar Hamlin out there on the defense. Obviously, Greg Rousseau. If I had to pick somebody to watch on offense, watch Emmanuel Sanders. Watch Manny Sanders.
Manu coming in hot, huh?
Yeah, watch Manny Sanders. Bills ain't bringing him in for 1 year for nothing. They ain't gonna be decoying him on like that neither. Josh don't have a problem on throwing the ball to anybody. He's not really fixated on one target. Like, he spreads the ball around. He throws it to the open guy. So look for Manny Sanders to get a lot of targets and snatch him up on your fantasy teams if y'all don't have it.
Shout out to my man Pepe Sanchez. Cheers to Mexico. What's up, Pepe? What's up, man? What time is it in Mexico right now? Anyway, it was like an hour behind, 2 hours.
No, Mexico. What is Mexico? It's 11:39 now, so yeah, it's probably like 9:40.
Makes sense. This makes sense. So, how are we feeling about the matchup with the Pittsburgh offense this time? Because we know they're going to come out with the short passes. They drafted Najee Harris, and I don't know a lot about Matt Canada. So, I mean, EJ, I may have to lean on you for that because I don't know a lot about what his scheme is, what they're going to do. But it seems like they could be put in a little bit of an indifference because last season we left them off where it was nothing but pretty much snap throws. It felt like until people figured it out. Matt Canada, I mean, what do you think? What do you think he'll try to do with this Bills defense? Because reality, the Bills struggled against the run last year, but we didn't necessarily have a healthy Tremaine Edmonds. We did not have Star Tulele in there, and we did not have like 4D linemen that's like 6'9" and 280 pounds with the reach of Willie Mammoth. So what changes here?
Yeah, I think the Steelers going with a more run-heavy approach. If there is a way that you're going to beat the Bills, that's going to be it. But again, they have fortified their defensive line, drafted two, edge rushers, and then one rusher that can play both inside and outside. So Matt Canada, they said that he's going to be trying to bring more balance to the offense by, again, running more. Because if you remember the Steelers last year, they were not able to run the ball at all. It was a struggle for them to run last year. So they're definitely going to be more committed to running the ball. Indicative of the pick of Najee Harris. Also, they're going to try, like I said, they're going to try to push it more. But, the Bills have given up the least amount of 20-plus yard plays in the last 3 years. So it's going to be tough trying to get the ball downfield against the Bills because they're so fortified on their back end and they have great communication. So if Matt Canada and the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to beat the Bills, it's going to have to be on the ground because that's the only way. And that's the way the Bills invite teams to beat them is by beating them up on the ground. But it's going to be a tougher task this time around.
No, definitely it's gonna be. I mean, how we attacking this Pittsburgh offense? Are we blitzing? We sitting back? We playing man? What we doing? We playing zone?
Well, the Bills are going to, do what they've been doing in preseason. I think they want to see what their investment is on the edge. That was the issue. You do have Star Tulele back, so that's going to see where we're going to be at as far as stopping the run. But when you put him out there with Greg Rousseau and those guys, I think you're going to see a lot of Gregory Rousseau and Boogie Basham on first and second down. And then you're going to see the pass rush specialists and Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison just to, be fresh enough to come off the edge on third down and rush the passer. So when you put somebody that long and next to a guy that's going to demand a double team with Ed Oliver on the opposite side of that, the Bills are going to see, that's definitely going to see, where they are in reference to stopping the run and, putting some pressure on the quarterback as well. I mean, you're not going to be throwing it on third down all the time. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how they got this. I mean, right now, obviously, your starters off the edge is Addison and Hughes, but I wouldn't be surprised if Greg Rousseau start this week.
Any surprise that it is Addison and Hughes starting, or do you think? And how long do you think until one of the young guys unseats them?
Well, like I said, I think you're going to see those guys start. And I mean, Addison and Hughes are going to be on a lot of ballots, but they're necessarily not going to be starting the game. They want to be stronger, faster, quicker, younger. To be more sufficient in the trenches. On first and second down. And then, Jerry, those guys are really undersized when you really look at it. When their frames aren't built just to rush the passer. Not saying that they can't tackle, but they're just a little bit undersized when it comes to run stopping, defensive ends. They're not run stopping defensive ends. They're pass rush specialists. Jerry Hughes was an All-American at TCU because the way he got after the quarterback. So it's a different dynamic when you get in the NFL. So that's why you bring guys like Gregory Rousseau and AJ Espinoza, who's 6'6" and 265, 270 plus pounds. Someone that could, get you a little bit more dynamic with those bigger 300-pound tackles, off the edge in order to stop the run. So that's why I say expect a lot of see a Boogie Basham and Gregory Rousseau on first and second downs as well.
So Mookie, do you expect Gregory Rousseau and Boogie Basham to out-snap Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison then?
To some degrees, yeah.
Yeah. I
To
can
some
see that. I can
degrees,
see
yeah.
that in a world too, yeah.
I
Where
can
they
see.
start the game.
To some degree, if not even, Steven. The Bills are going to see fit to, when that happens. In certain situations, yeah, you'll get them out there, but they have quality depth now to move those guys around. They have 10 legit, a legit 10-man rotation. If it's done correctly, they have a legit 10-man rotation up front. So that's keeping a lot of bodies fresh and healthy, built to last for the season, I think. And that's not even counting Justin Zimmer, who was the 11th guy who made it, So, I think they have a solid enough group up front to get the job done, rushing the passer and shutting down the run. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see. Good matchup week 1 in the trenches to see what the Bills is made of up front.
One of the interesting things I saw this week was a lot of people were talking about the captain selections, and I don't know how much thought we should or how much thought we shouldn't put into the selected captains. But it was surprising. It seemed like Deion Dawkins was the captain last year. He's not a captain this year. Jerry Hughes is not a captain this year as well. If you want to look at your captains this year, it's Micah Hyde, obviously Josh Allen, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, Reed Ferguson, Tremaine Edmonds, Tyler Matakevich, Stephon Diggs, which actually surprised me that they made Steph a captain, and then Tywan Jones. Are we looking too in deep? Are we looking too deep into these captains? Should we not? Because a lot of people lost their C's. Whoop.
Everybody pretty much stayed the same except for Steph Diggs and Deion. Matakevich got it because he's special teams, and Reed Ferguson last year he's special teams guy. He's the elder statesman of that group, so rightfully so. He captain. Tremaine was captain. He's a franchise player. Josh, franchise player. Deion is a franchise player, but maybe he got those strikes pulled, getting the COVID situation. I don't know. Maybe even in the doghouse for that. I'm not sure. Don't take my word for it, but hey, it is what it is. It's the star power as well too. So you gotta look at all that stuff.
All right. My man Evan Zinger in the chat says, and then I'm gonna tell you something. Every time somebody says a very good point in the chat, you're gonna get a ding. That's what we call it, a ding. So Evan Zinger, you get a ding. Ben was the very worst quarterback last year against cover 2. You get a ding, my man. We got another ding in here too. My man Jeremy says could have been a captain last year, and they said that in an interview today. You bring it out, you get a ding. You get a ding. But yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. I know a lot of Bills Mafia was talking about it. Obviously, I think Jerry Hughes is a captain. I think his time ran. I think it ran its course. It's time to give it to somebody else from Jerry. Dion still kind of surprised me because you don't have not one offensive lineman that's a captain technically. I mean, obviously you can kind of say Reed Ferguson is, but he's really just a long snapper.
Yeah, they transitioning in a little bit. I mean, it's more or less. Stephon Diggs. Is the face of a program right now, so I mean, it's only right for him to rock a C. You know what I mean? So you got to look at it again. It goes to that star power, like how a guy right now, Stephon Diggs, magnitude is it the captain on the team? When basically he's other than Josh Allen, he's probably the most recognizable Bill. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely. Yep.
that just goes without saying. So. I mean, hey, Dion's locked on the contract. He got more times and more years to become the captain. But, all those guys lead by example in the locker room. You know what I mean? It's just that, okay, this guy has to be more vocal in certain situations. And, like you said, be accountable. You know what I mean? So that's key word.
Yeah.
Key word.
Accountable. No, I mean, that's huge. I mean, we saw a guy in Cam Newton who honestly – you can say what you want to say, but he got cut partially because he broke the rule, the protocol rule, missed 5 days, and I mean it behind the scenes pretty much said it pissed Bill Belichick off.
Yeah,
especially after he caught COVID last year. I mean, they were only a game or two from making the playoffs,
and
he missed 2 games that they lost.
Yeah,
so I mean, it's gonna be interesting how teams handle this. It's gonna be interesting how teams handle this going forward. And I know the Bills have made some controversial comments about it, pro and anti-vax, but it's gonna be interesting to see. Hopefully, we don't have any outbreaks, but we'll see. But moving forward, I mean, we talked a little bit about the offense. We talked a little about the defense. I want to get into expectations, and I want to name a couple players. I want to know what you guys' expectations is, not only for this game, but for this season in general. So obviously, I'll start with my man Josh Allen first. I mean, he's captain of the team, $258 million man. I think we got to talk about expectations. EJ, what you got?
My expectations for Josh are simply that he will be in the MVP running or winning the MVP. I mean, many people he is the hot pick right now for people in terms of MVP. As you said off air, as we talked about, this is like a Super Bowl bust year for the Bills. They got the roster, they got the coaching, they got everything aligned for them to win the Super Bowl. And I hate to put those expectations on him so early. This is only his 4th year in the league, but I mean, he showed enough where it's time to get it done. So my expectations for him is that he will be either runner-up or the MVP, and that he is vying again to be in the Super Bowl and play the NFC, whatever the NFC team is in the Super Bowl, because I mean he's that good and the team is that good.
All right, Mook, what you got for us as the man you call Hollywood? And if you guys have expectations too, go ahead and put them in the chat. Put a stat line in the chat for Josh Allen. Put a stat line in there. I want to see some stats. Maybe if you get the stats right, man, I'll send you a piece of candy or something like 5 months.
We gotta try to maybe we get those guys a jersey or something like that. But
I'm not paying for that, man.
My thing is this: when I'm tired of hearing about some letdown that's supposed to be happening with Josh. Like, can people get over that? Like
the regression, you mean?
Yeah, why are you talking about on the regression from Josh? And
because it's gonna happen at some point. I mean, he almost had a perfect season. At some point, he's gonna have to come back down to reality. Now, I don't think it's gonna be
what's reality.
Where it's gonna reality is with an 18th game. I still think he throws for 5,000. He almost threw for 5,000 last year. He had almost 50 touchdowns last year. Maybe it's more like 40, something like that. But I don't think his regression is going to be so. I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be so major where he's not going to be a good.
If he throw for more touchdowns and more yards, that's not a regression. That's not a regression. So a regression is numbers. His numbers are going to be lower. And not necessarily that could be a regression, but some people look at it that way from a number standpoint. But if his numbers are slightly lower and they win the Super Bowl and he's the MVP of the Super Bowl, you still don't call that regression.
That's exactly where I was going with. I would love to see him regress, and I would, in my terms, regress and then run the ball more, and they do it that way, where they be blowing teams out, and then they have to employ a game plan where they eat and clock. I would love to see that type of regression, but I still think he's going to be efficient. I still think he's going to be razor sharp. I still think that he needs to improve his situational game planning and his situational play. But other than that, I think he'll be right there. But he will have a slight regression though, just a little bit.
Where? Like, how do y'all predict that? Like, I don't get that. Like, you keep
Because
saying
you don't-
he's gonna have a slight regression. Nobody thought that he would have had the season he had last year. Now we talking about a regression. I don't get that. I don't understand where people
Because
like,
that level of
so Josh didn't work on his game at all.
no, that's
Like,
that's not what we
it's
saying.
amazing how his expectations are so high. And coming from out Wyoming, when nobody's talking about Baker Mayfield or Lamar Jackson for right now at that matter. Like, these guys have had the season that Josh Allen had. For them to just so they be talking about a regression in Josh and not talking. Okay, so did Lamar Jackson regress last year?
Yes, he did regress last year. Yes, he did. He did. He played at the MVP level the year before, and then he regressed last year. Yeah, he did.
And why did he regress?
He regressed because teams started playing him differently. You don't take into account injuries. They lost their left tackle at the beginning of the season. There's a whole bunch of things that can contribute to regression that we all can't foresee.
Yeah, well, I mean, but then again, like I said, I think that when we talk about regression, like I said, it's an unfair assessment for an elite quarterback, and I think that we are going to start putting Josh in that category as being elite. But elite, and how many years can we say Tom Brady regressed, but then he won the Super Bowl that year?
Right.
You could probably say at least 2 or 3 of those years, because the years he had his best years, like the year with Moss where they went 17 or 16 or whatever it was, they didn't even win the Super Bowl.
Right.
So the next year and the next couple of years was all regression from that point, but they was winning. So it's hard to stay up here as far as being elite, but I think what you have to do is you have to put it in a tier. Is there still elite play? It's not about did he throw 45 touchdowns this year and now he went to 38 touchdowns.
Right.
Is he still playing at elite level, and that's it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I still think he'll be at a
If he throws for 5,000 and he throws for 45 touchdowns, he probably still had 9 picks. I mean, you got to put up MVP numbers. The expectation is high because everybody is have you right now preseason MVP. So you don't think that Dable is going to make sure that the Josh Allen MVP campaign come true? I'm telling you now. Don't be surprised if you see Josh Allen throw for 500 a nickel in a game. Don't be surprised if you see that. Don't be surprised.
My man,
I would not.
My man Jeremy gets another ding, man. Didn't McDermott and Bean say something about a 5-year plan to get the Super Bowl when they got hired? Because this is their year 5. You get a ding for that. Bring his knowledge.
Well, next year will be year 5, obviously. So Bean didn't come on till after,
Come on, man.
Year after.
Oh, you about to rehash?
Come on, man.
Rehash the room.
We
We
know Bean was in there. We know Bean was texting McDermott during that draft.
And they was mad at it.
Yeah,
Whaley and McDermott didn't see eyes in the draft room, and like the same week, Whaley was given his papers right after that. So.
Right, they jumped in front of Carolina twice to take Zay and then take Dion.
Like, yeah,
Hey, Dave, who we taking, Dave?
It's definitely a good plan. But
Dave, I mean Gettleman.
I don't see Josh Allen regressing. I mean, when you got your whole team coming back, together as a unit, I don't see Josh Allen regressing. Right now, this is the best. This roster is better than last year's roster. So I don't understand where people think it's going to be any type of regression. Why? Why it has to be a regression? Why does everybody want to say that last year was just a Bill ceiling?
It was because of a point. It was because of a point you said last show. You told me You said that they didn't get the running game going right because it was COVID and all that, and they didn't get it together the way they wanted to, right? So this
Right.
year, you said this is the year that they're gonna get that running game right. I rather Josh Allen regress and the team as a whole schematically get better at the expense of his numbers. Now I
But
understand they. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
well, let
ahead.
me ask you a question. But let's just say this, okay? Let's just say he throws for less yards, a few less touchdowns, right? But his completion percentage is the same. His efficiency is the same. Is that technically regressing? If we ran the ball,
Technically, no, it's not a regression. I say he still will have elite play, but numbers wise and raw stats wise, yes, it's probably going to be a regression. Like the regression that these guys are talking about that you're referring to, Mookie, they're talking about him regressing back to 18 and 19, Josh. And I don't see that happening. That's just outlandish.
So if Devin Singletary rushed for 1,000 yards last year, will we still be talking about, a regression? Josh Allen numbers still be the same. But if Devin Singletary rushed for 1,000 yards, I mean, what are we going to say about that? We're going to say 1,000 yards isn't enough this trip, and Josh Allen numbers is slightly better or slightly lower in some areas. That's where we're going to cite a regression. How about everybody numbers gets better? You know what I mean? How about that? How about everybody numbers get better because they're in the same system, they're in the same scheme, and they've been playing together for now 2 to 3 years. So that continuity has gotten even stronger. So it can't do nothing but get better. It cannot regress. All right. It can only get better. And if it's not getting better, then you're going to see people move very quickly. All right. So why you think that all these sportscasters and analysts right now has the Bills' favorite to go to the Super Bowl? Because of that factor alone. There's no way in hell that this team is obviously better top to bottom on paper than last year's team. So you got Diggs back another year. People say he's going to regress again. Why not? You got time. Three guys could potentially be over 1,000 yards messing around with Josh Allen, and we still can have 1,000-yard rushing. You know what I mean? So that's how better. We got another week. All right. So it can't be done. You know what I mean? We have one more extra week of football being played. So that those numbers could get done, and everybody's numbers could get better, especially when it's another week to play. You know what I mean? So I don't see no regression. I just see everything getting better for the Buffalo Bills from wins to players' numbers, and and this is Super Bowl of bust right now.
Well, that's the thing. I don't see the regression at all either. I mean, I think when people talk about regression, and it's not necessarily you, EJ, but just general, is because people don't want to believe that this kid's going to be that good. People don't want to believe that Stephon Diggs is going to put up 1,500 yards again. But it was easy to believe that Drew Brees was going to throw for 5,000 yards every year. It was easy to believe that Julio Jones was going to have 1,400 yards this year. Tennessee Titans has traded a first round pick they traded? Or second round pick for a 33-year-old receiver who's been banged up. So it's the thing is that it's Josh Allen, it's Buffalo, and people don't want to believe it. So they have to associate the word regress with it because the experts were completely wrong. This may have been one of the worst hat jobs by the experts in the NFL history, to be completely honest, when it came to Josh Allen.
Well, the notion on Josh Allen was he needed time to develop. There were people who said he was trash. There was, but most experts who knew the game, especially Mel Kiper was one of the biggest ones who was just like, yo, he needs time to develop. If I remember correctly, somebody said that Josh going into Wyoming, he did not go to any of those Elite 11 passing camps, any of that. And he was almost, 1,000 or 10,000, something like that. He was behind every other quarterback that came ahead of him. So he's pretty much learning on the fly when he got in the NFL. And I would say, for the most part, he's handled it very well. First year, he was trash. Second year, he was average. Third year, he was elite. So, I mean, he's right there. And it turned out pretty much the way everybody said it was. He got talent around him. He got a great coach. He got an offensive line. He got an elite weapon. And you saw the progression and you saw the blossoming. So, the experts pretty much called it right. He needed a situation to get better, and he got better.
I mean, it's mainly because he's putting the work in. like I said, if people look at his regiment, man, and this is why I say I know Bills fans get tired of me saying this, but the best thing to happen for Buffalo is the fact that yes, we got Josh Allen, but the best thing to happen is that his idol is Tom Brady, and he idolizes his work ethic. His work ethic. If you look at his offseason regiment, it's the same every year. Hopefully this year they win the Super Bowl, but you know after Super Bowl it's gonna be a month off. Him and Britt will they go on to a couple of destinations. They relaxing, they chilling. He getting his mind right. He gonna come back. He gonna fly to California. He gonna get with Jordan Palmer. He's gonna be with Sam Darnold. He's gonna be there with Kyle Allen. He's gonna be there with Joe Burrow. They're gonna be working. They're gonna be working on the beach. They're gonna be working in the field. And then he's gonna meet up with his receivers. After he meets with the receivers, then he's gonna go back to Jordan Palmer again and work some more. Then he's gonna meet with the receiver one more time. Then he's gonna spend a little bit more time with Britt. And then he's coming to camp ready to go. Every time I see quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield, none against Baker, he chilling. He on the beach, he relaxed. I'm not saying he can put a work in, but I don't see it. You know what I'm saying? I looked at Lamar. I think Lamar put the work in, but I don't see it. Josh Baker know where he at. He's in the lab all summer. He's in the lab. So I mean, like I said, man, that's the reason he proved them wrong because he put the time and effort in. There's a lot of quarterbacks too in this league that have talent and they put the work in and it doesn't translate to the field. So I'm not just saying he's the only one training like that. A lot of guys train their ass off. It just don't make it to the field. Don't translate. It's unfortunate.
And the best thing about Josh that he has that all these other quarterbacks have is that off platform, off script throwing that just is coveted by all the major quarterbacks have it except for Brady. But other than that, all the major quarterbacks, all elite quarterbacks have it that off script, off schedule, off platform throwing that he can do, throw it across his body while scrambling 45 yards and stiff arming 5 linemen. That is what separates those quarterbacks, man. And at the beginning of the summer, I was not on the Josh Allen top 5 train because I still think he needed to show a little bit more, man. But now that Deshaun Watson's playing career may be in jeopardy, seriously, I mean, Josh Allen is slated right in there as a top 5 quarterback in this league, man.
His playing career ain't in no jeopardy, man. He'll be back. He'll be back after 8 games next year, man. Just need to he taking this little vacay, man. That's all.
Right.
He gonna take a little vacay. He gonna lose a little bit of money
Before he get traded to Miami.
I still think I'm still calling Philly, man.
Philly, I like Philly. I would like if they went to Philly.
I'm still calling
got
Philly,
weapons
man.
there.
I'm still calling Philly. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens in this game. What do y'all expect from Starla Tulane, man? Y'all know that's my favorite guy. That's sarcasm.
He's a one tech. Don't really give you much in the pass rush sense. I mean, if he wants one thing, everyone seems to think that since Star's back, the running defense is going to be a lot better. So I mean, I would like to see him take up double team so we can finally see Tremaine Edmonds be the guy that y'all all say he is, this super Pro Bowl top 5 linebacker that everyone says that he is. So Starla Tulane, that is what I want to see from him. Make it clean for Tremaine Edmonds, as what Ray Lewis said about Haloti Ngata when he asked for the Ravens to draft Haloti Ngata a couple years ago.
Yeah, I like Star all right, man, but he ain't no Haloti Ngata, man. I'm not even
Hey, I mean, that. But hey, listen, that's the impact that y'all looking for him to have.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Whoa, no, it's not.
That's the point I'm making. Y'all looking for him to have that type of impact.
You putting words in my mouth. You putting words in my mouth. I would never expect the Haloti Ngata type impact from Starla Tulane. Never.
That's the Mafia. Maybe not you specifically. That's the Mafia. Since Star's back, the run defense is gonna be fixed. I don't know how that works, but
I mean, he definitely improves it. I'm not saying he doesn't improve it, but I mean, you started saying about Haloti Ngata and stuff like that, man. I'm like, whoa, slow down now. Move what you expect from a man from Star, man. He gonna make an impact. What you got for snap count percentage? What you thinking?
Well, yeah, I think he's going to get a lot of work. I think he's going to have a lot of snap count. He got to catch up for last year. And he's under a contract year right now, so he's definitely the more snaps the merrier for him. He needs to play himself into game shape. The body does look good, but he needs to play himself into playing shape. And if they can get clicking at the right time, him and Ed Oliver can rekindle that. That continuity together. You bring Russo in with that. It's going to be a 3-man tandem. You know, it's going to be tough to play that one-on-one, especially if you got guys like Jerry Hughes coming off the edge on the other side with Milano and Tremaine Edmonds, playing linebacker. So game is one up front. That's going to be the biggest test. So it's a good matchup going against the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that we know that's going to run. So it's going to be a battle in the trenches once again. Playoff atmosphere week 1, but I think Star's going to ball out. I think he's going to ball out.
I wanted to ask both of y'all a question before you go forward, Jeremy, because Mookie brought up Ed Oliver. So I wrote an article a while ago about Ed Oliver being one of the most important players on his team. That's because I figure, due to where the Bills drafted him, he's expected to make an impact similar to Aaron Donald. Because Aaron Donald was drafted 13th, and Oliver was drafted 9th. So you telling me that he's supposed to make that type of impact? Now, they drafted Boogie Basham, who we've seen play 3-tech in preseason. So, Mookie, I didn't ask you this question. Do you think if Ed Oliver doesn't show that flash that he was drafted to show, do you think Boogie Basham is going to slide in at that 3-tech spot and be what they're looking for?
I don't think so. I mean, it is year 3 for Ed Oliver. Things tend to get slower year 3 for everyone. That's that curve right there. But I don't think that they're gonna replace him with Boogie Basham. I think Boogie Basham more or less would probably replace Star Lotulelei in the pass rushing situation. Now, when you come in on the pass rushing, potentially Jerry Hughes, Ed Oliver, Boogie Basham, Greg Rousseau. Third down, who's going to be inside rushing the quarterback? It's not going to be Styler Tulare. You're going to have probably Boogie play inside and rush the quarterback on third down. He comes off. So Ed Oliver is going to get, playing time with both of those guys, playing alongside both of those guys. So I think Ed Oliver is going to have a solid season this year. I really believe that he's going to have a solid season, and that's going to answer a lot of questions up front. They're going to start making plays. It's going to help off the back end, no matter who's out there. Now, that's my biggest concern is what's going on the back end now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We have, that's my biggest concern on the defense is the back end. Obviously, Josh Norman signed with the San Francisco 49ers. So, I don't know how many seasoned vets there are out there that could, give the Bills back end, the secondary, a boost. So we just have to wait and see, what transpires with that. Obviously, like I said before, Pittsburgh, they have, 3 to 4 dynamic receivers. So they're not going to be afraid to throw the ball. And, our guys got to be, up for the task and, cover well against that, So, we look a little young in that department. When we look at, the Pittsburgh Steelers receiving core, we look a little young and inexperienced, within those matchups. So that's concerns me. That concerns me. So we're definitely going to get a first crack at it this weekend, though, and see, where we are as a secondary.
Yeah, because they're going to throw the ball. Like I said, they're going to throw the ball. It's going to be a lot of dink and dunk. It's going to be a lot of bubble screens. We just got to wrap up, man. We can't miss tackles. We didn't do it last year. We were fine. I believe Big Ben finished last year against us. I think he was 21-37, 187, 2 touchdowns, 2 winners. Everything we had, everything was like under 10 yards, so we just got to do that again. But Josh did not particularly play well against this team last year. He was 24-43, 238, 2 touchdowns, 1 inner. It was good enough to win, but once again, we didn't play well. And Stephon Diggs ate against him. 10 catches for 130 and a touchdown last year. So, I'm expecting Diggs to eat even more this year. Minkah Fitzpatrick I like Minkah, but you can take him out the game.
Yeah, he's a safety. He's a safety that doesn't cover like that. Yes, absolutely. And I just wanted to say, if you guys needed to see what the importance is of having a number one receiver, just turn on that game tape of the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Bills Week 14. That is why you get a number one receiver. They could not get a thing going on offense until Teron Johnson's pick, and then the offense came together. But all through that game, the steady presence, even in the first half, Stephon Diggs was the calming presence. He caught all the passes. He had 13 targets that game. And as the game progressed, he got better and the team started feeding off his energy. And he started making plays against single coverage. No DB could stop him because he's that good. And that is why you go and give up a first-round pick for a star receiver, because of that right there.
No, and to be honest, if you wanted the actual numbers, he went in the halftime with 4 catches, 42 yards that game, and he came out in the second half and absolutely just crushed these dudes.
Yeah.
He had another 6 catches for about 90 yards, just in the second half alone.
Yeah.
So I mean, for a lot of players, that's a game worth of work. But before we get too far, Bills Mafia, we look at each other as a family. And unfortunately, we've lost a member of our Bills Mafia family, a friend by the name of Steve Bronca died, and Steve was in a lot of Facebook groups and things as such. He was an avid Bills fan, and I actually had a chance to reach out to his son and talk a little bit about his dad and get some information. And he had a really good story about his dad. He says his dad was a 100% a Bills fan. It's a funny story. He said he was born in 1994. James was, and January 26th, and a few days before the Super Bowl, he called them Jimbo. So his real name is James Kelly Bronca. So he named his son James Kelly Bronca in honor of Jim Kelly. And unfortunately, Steve recently lost his battle with cancer, and he was a really big friend of a lot of Bills and fans in these Bills groups. And it's unfortunate, but hopefully the Bills can do some work, and hopefully I can send my condolences to the family. And as always, as in honor of Steve, we like to say, "Go Bills!"
Go Bills.
So,
Yeah,
hey
my
guys,
condolences, man. My condolences to that.
Yeah.
Raffle for life, baby.
yeah. So besides that, guys, I mean, I don't think there's much more to talk about. Anything you guys want to bring up? Anything? Any final thoughts? Anything like that? What we gotta?
Yeah, I wanted to touch on Mookie's point before we go about the
Okay.
DBs. So I have been slated as saying the whole summer that I think the DBs are probably the biggest issue on his defense, just because that they get less than average play at 2 cornerback spots, right? And so the draft told us that the Bills are telling us that they are going to use their pass rush till its max capacity, its max potential to get it done against these better teams. But you still got Teron Johnson, who's not the best nickel corner. And so you still got these Chiefs receivers. You got to play the Bucks this year. Like, these better teams have three receivers that are really good. And the Bills only have 5 DBs in total, and 2 of them are all right. And you got an all pro. You have 1 all pro, and then you got 2 safeties though, but they're not covering like that. So like, I'm interested to hear y'all thoughts on the state of the DB room at this moment in time.
Well, I mean, I go first. I mean, I don't have a problem with the state of the DB room. Like I said, I've been saying for years. I mean, we play mostly a cover 3 base, cover 4 base zone. A lot of our DB coverage is dependent on our pass rush, which they obviously are definitely trying to fix that. I think with Trey, you're fine. I mean, Trey is a top tier corner in this NFL. I think you have 2 top tier safeties in Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. And like I said, I have no problems with Levi Wallace. Yes, is there an upgrade available? Probably. Could you upgrade? Probably. But could you get worse? I think absolutely. My only issue with the secondary is, like I said, I think we need a stronger nickel. And I like Teron Johnson's zone, but I just think in this league, when you're playing teams of that such, you do need a nickel who can cover better a man. And like I said, the name I probably would have went and got that brought in would probably have been Nikhil Roby to push him. But they didn't do that. So I mean, other than that, I think if the pass rush is there, I don't think you have a problem with your secondary, no matter who you're playing.
Yeah, if the pass rush is making it do what it do, then yeah, really don't matter who's on the back end.
But that's basically saying like their pass rush is going to eat every game. Basically, that's basically what you're telling me, and
Right.
I'm not sitting here counting on that every single game. That's
Well,
that's my issue.
Well, I'm gonna put it this way: if the pass rush does not eat this season, I don't care if you threw Xavier and Howard out there with Trey White. It's not gonna matter. No
I tell you, the
pass.
defense would be way better if he was back there. I'll tell you that much.
He probably would. But the whole point is, if you're covered for 6 seconds, I don't care who you are. It's not gonna work if you're not getting a pass rush. I saw Miami defense got until the second half of the season. Miami defense was getting torched the first half with Xavier Howard and Byron Jones.
It provides at least
It didn't matter if you're not getting to the quarterback. It doesn't matter.
to be able to.
You know why the Chiefs? You know why the Chiefs can get by with their cornerbacks, and neither one of their quarterbacks is great
Very clear.
because you had people putting pressure on the quarterback,
It's a crime.
even if the defense was subpar.
Work tirelessly to make sure
You got to have a pass rush.
all
Simple as that.
this from the streets of Texas by aggressively going out,
Yeah, but
arresting them and prosecuting and getting them off the street.
you know they coming out in that 3 receiver set.
Exactly, man. Say it's right there, bro. Them teams that come out in them 3 wide sets, they got to play the Bucks this year with Godwin, Evans, and Antonio Brown. If you telling me the pass rush is gonna get to Brady every single time, okay, but that's not realistic, bro. It's really not. So I'm not confident in that matchup. So when you play the Chiefs and then you got Tyreek and then Travis Kelce, who's in the slot against Teron Johnson or Trey Wright or whoever, you feel confident about those matchups too? Like I said, the pass rush not going to get there. Just realistically speaking, it's not going to get there every single time. Other teams are really good. The Chiefs revamped their whole offensive line. Not saying that it's great, it's going to be great, but I mean, they got younger and better on their O-line. So I mean, like,
yeah, we haven't fixed that. We haven't brought nobody in that we thought to compensate what they were talking about after losing to Kansas City. Like you would figure they would bring somebody in that can hang with the cheetah, or who can, you figure they would draft somebody. They haven't did that. They took everything else, but they haven't really addressed the cornerback situation. They was hoping maybe Dane Jackson would take the reins a little bit, over Levi Wallace. So that hasn't changed. So if we were to play Kansas City today, it's the same secondary versus the same receiver. So potentially it could be the same result. So we haven't fixed that. We haven't fixed that with a new name back there to say, okay, well, we got such and such this year, with Tre'Davious and the rest of those guys to hold his own over there. We can't say that because that hasn't changed. But everything else has, I'm quite sure everybody is confident and comfortable with Tremaine and Matt Milano. I'm quite sure everybody right now is confident and comfortable with what the Bills have up front right now. But we're going to put Levi Wallace on McCall Hardman. We're going to put Levi Wallace on Tariq. Because they're going to match him up, and I need to see Levi play with more aggression this year. He has the size, he's lanky, but I need him to play with more aggression. That's what's lacking at our number 2 corner. They're not playing with enough aggression. Dane has flashed, but, injuries right now is preventing that from flourishing. So you would figure that the Bills would try to at least bring in some sort of namesake veteran to balance that out. It's not over. So
no, I mean, I just think, man, with a better pass rush, and you say it's not realistic to say that the pass rush can't come in the game. I think it's very realistic the pass rush can bring it every day, and I think that at the payroll that we have and the capital that we've invested in that pass rush, they better try to bring it every game.
Right, true.
That's a lot of money invested. That's a lot of high draft picks invested. Oh, that's very realistic. Yeah.
No, I was saying that it's not real. Based on what, like I said, based on what Bean and McDermott has shown us, it's not realistic to think that they just gonna go out and get 7 to 8 sacks per game, just off the rip against these better teams. Because these better teams have better O lines, and you guys are putting, or we are as a fan base are putting a bunch of pressure on Gregory Rousseau to be like Javon Curse his first year in the league, and it's just like we got to temper these expectations of what y'all actually expect from the pass rush. Like you going 11 deep, saying that we're just gonna throw a whole bunch of bodies at it, and like we're gonna get it done that way. You know, like the Bills have a good, really good pass rusher in Jerry Hughes, in my opinion. But we all three of us know that Jerry Hughes alone is not going to be able to create pressure against these better teams. I'll agree with you on that, Jeremy. So you need other guys to step up. But you guys are expecting
Jerry Hughes together can't put pressure on these teams.
And so now you expecting Gregory Rousseau to be an 11 sack, 12 sack guy his first year.
No. No one's see. There you go. You're putting words on my mouth again. I never said that. What we're expecting these guys to do different than what Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison did last year. And I want you to think about the body makeup of these guys is to collapse the pocket. Collapsing the pocket would be just as good as a sack if we're collapsing. And I don't mean the Jerry Hughes where you give him the pressure stat where he runs around his man and the quarterback steps up into the lane and steps to the left and makes an easy throw with nobody in his face. I'm talking about collapsing the pocket. That's what we did all preseason. We collapsed the pocket on these quarterbacks, and if it wasn't a sack, it was a very interrupted throw. That's what I'm looking for. I think that's what Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott are looking for. They alluded to that in the offseason when they said, hey, this is the type of body make that they wanted. Long arms, bigger defenders. So, no, I don't think it's far-fetched. If that means these guys have to bull rush all game and they account for only one sack as a unit, but they made 4 or 5 bad throws, I'm fine with that. Good. Because now you're letting your playmakers and Trey White, Jordan Poyer, and Micah Hyde go back to actually being able to make plays because you didn't put them in a position to do that.
Yeah. Don't forget we still got Espinoza over there at 6'6", 265 too. So, you know, I think Rousseau is going to have anywhere between 8 to 10 sacks this year. I really do. 17-week season. 8 to 10 sacks should be somewhere around there. Anywhere between heavy. 8 to 10, if not more.
That's heavy. That's a heavy ask for a rookie in his first year going up against NFL starting caliber tackles. He did it against Penei Sewell, who was also a rookie, and then a less than average tackle against the Bears. Is he going to do that?
Look at the Bills division. Look at the Bills. How many sacks do you? And I want you to be honest. If he was getting 45% of the snaps in the division, how many sacks do you think he could get in the division versus New England, the Dolphins, and the Jets alone?
Well, New England has a top 5 O line, so I'm expecting only maybe one sack.
Who's blocking him? A right tackle.
Right tackle. Who's a right tackle? They got Trent Brown, and who else? Owenu, right? Michael Owenu is the right tackle.
I don't know. That's you can't name him. That's normally a problem.
So, but listen, to answer your question, I would say, in the division alone, I go 5 or 6 sacks.
Just in that division alone, 5 or 6. You mean he can't make up? And I don't think he's going to have that many. Like I said, I got him at 7. I got him at 7 and a half
for this whole season, including playoffs.
No, I don't include the playoffs. I don't include playoffs. So different. I don't never include playoffs in the stats. I got him at 7 and a half. But if Mookie's saying he got him at 11, and you think he can get 5 in division, you think he can't come out of those other 6 in those other games? We still play some. You still play some other bad teams. What about Atlanta?
That's like all my whole thing is that, like I said, that's a lot of pressure to put on a first year DN.
It's not pressure though.
What is it?
He's not putting pressure. He's rotating, getting these sacks. We've seen people like Jabal Sheard in the past get double-digit sacks by playing only 30% of the snaps. That's the easy part. Hey, Rook, get in there and go get the quarterback. That's the easy role. The hard role is saying, hey, Rook, play on 1st and 2nd down. Watch out for the RPO. Watch for the run coming to your side. I think, Dan, hey, go get the quarterback. That's easy. That's what we used to do with Jerry Hughes before he fell off the cliff.
You can't say Jerry Hughes fell off the cliff when he had one of his best seasons last year. Don't do that, man.
I'm not hearing that.
No, we didn't get Jerry Hughes no help.
Thank you, Mookie. Thank you, Mookie. Finally, Finally.
And you're the cold front, right? So we already know who the original cold front was, right? Kyle Williams, Marcel Darius, Super Mario, and Jerry. They all had double-digit sacks. You take away those three, yeah, we can double Jerry and one play one-on-one everywhere else, and that's what's been going on. Jerry has led, he's been top in the league in quarterback pressures, but it just hasn't been translating to sacks. So what do? You decrease his snap count, preserve him. You bring these young studs in, keep him fresh. And, hey, this is the year, Jerry, your contract year, that we're just going to allow you just to rush the passer, nothing else. These guys are ready to take over, and do that. So I think that Jerry's numbers are going to be better this year. I think that, again, we're not talking about Espinoza on that other side. Why are we so quick to put Boogie Basham over there? You know what I mean? So
I think Ebenezer should start. I think Ebenezer should be your starter.
Ebenezer, Ed Oliver, Boogie Basham, and Greg Rousseau. That's the sack pack.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't think we need to temper expectations. Look, I mean, those are all high picks, man. If we don't have high expectations for as much capital we invested, then we doing something wrong. We doing something very wrong.
Not in his first year, man. To get 12 sacks, that's telling me that he's gonna be a generational pass rusher like Khalil Mack. That's what y'all. That's what you're telling me.
Why he can't be?
I didn't say he couldn't be. I didn't say he couldn't be. I said in his first year is what I said. That's what I said. In his first year, y'all expecting.
His last season he played, he had 15.5 sacks
against centers and guards, Mookie. Against centers and college guards. Most of his sacks was on the inside. He did not have a sack. He did not have a sack on the true pass set. He did not have one sack on the true pass set. He had them all on centers and guards on the inside. You can go look that up.
A sack is a sack in my book.
That's fine, but when you play D end and you're an edge rusher, you're going up against tackles, and he didn't have a sack against a tackle. He had a sack against a guard and centers he's quicker than and bigger than and longer than.
Yeah, but he had some real quick sacks against NFL tackles in this preseason, really quick.
Penei Sewell is a rookie. Let's not do that.
Okay,
he's a rookie.
What
you mean? Let's not do that. Penei Sewell's top 5 pick.
He's a rookie. He did not play an NFL game until he went up against Rousseau. He has no NFL experience going up. He went up against Rousseau.
Rousseau don't either.
So it's a rookie going up against two people with no NFL experience going up against each other.
They said
that's pretty much two college players
in the draft, bro. He was the best lineman in the draft.
I'm not disagreeing with you. He was touted as the best lineman in the draft, but he didn't look like it on that play. And they're both still rookies, bro. Let's see him do that against David Bakhtiari. Let's see him do that against Teron Armstead. These top tackles.
Yeah, but
Tristan Wirfs.
But that's the thing, though.
We'll see that.
We're gonna see. Like I said, those are not. He's not gonna go against them every single play in every single game.
He moves around now. He's not just gonna be playing, on the edge and shit. He's gonna move around.
Who's his first game against? Who's that right tackle right now? No,
they have a sorry O-line. They have a sorry O-line.
So what's to say? So what's to say he can't get 2 sacks that game? I'm just saying. I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate here, but Trent Brown, you telling me that Trent Brown's going to dominate this kid? I don't know.
But the Bills are good enough to beat these bad teams without him getting that many sacks. That's my point. They don't need him to get sacks to beat the Steelers, the Lions, the football team. They don't need him to do that. They need him to do that against the Chiefs. They need him to do that against the Patriots. They need him to do that against these better teams, the Titans. That's when they need him to do it. And these teams have better O-lines.
But once
Dan Moore Jr. and Chumuma Okafor, those are the tackles, right and left tackles for the Steelers Sunday.
But what you're saying is this. I understand what you're saying about you need him to do it against certain teams, but that has nothing to do with how many sacks Mookie said he's gonna get. I agree with you. Yes, we do need him to do that against those top teams, but it still doesn't change the fact that he's going to play probably around 12 sorry teams.
So you don't think that he's capable of getting 6 sacks and saying that's pressure?
No, I don't think he's capable of getting 15 sacks. You said 12 to 15, Mookie. That's what you said.
8 to 10. I said 8 to 10.
I thought he said 12 to 15 sacks.
No, he didn't say 12 to 15.
Yeah. I'm going to say that for
8 to 10. That's the
saying
ceiling.
7. I'm
That's
saying
the
7.5.
ceiling then. That's the ceiling then.
Then at that, you're not even taking into effect how many points do you think the Bills' offense is going to score? Because there's going to be a lot of passing plays the teams will be playing from behind. They probably going to break every offensive statistic and stat that this team has.
Listen, man, if y'all feel like that's what he gonna know, if y'all feel like that's what he gonna do, then I'm just gonna sit here and wait and see. But I'm
I got
not
a question
putting
for
that
you.
much. Yes, sir.
Who you think will have more sacks, Greg Rousseau or Jerry Hughes? I'm gonna make you answer that.
Oh, why would you make me answer that, bro?
Because I'm gonna make you answer that.
So the first 4 games: Pittsburgh, Miami, Washington, Houston. You don't think that Gregory Rousseau?
I'm going out saying it. Jerry Hughes gonna have more sacks than Greg Rousseau the first 4 games on record. I guarantee it.
You don't even believe that, man. You had to think.
Why not?
You don't even believe that.
Why not?
Your whole reaction said you didn't believe that.
Why not? He is the most. He was the 5th. He had 5th most pressures in the league last year. It is not out of the realm of possibility.
Here you go with that pressure word again.
Nah, I know, because I know somebody in the comments just put, "Oh, real football is greater than PFF." But when PFF said that Gregory Rousseau was the top pressure DN in the league in preseason, they all was all over that though. Be fair and be real. Don't pick and choose which stats y'all like and don't like.
That's what people gonna do, man. People gonna pick and choose. I'm just saying, man. I mean, I'm with Mook. I got Greg Rousseau at 7.5 this year.
Okay.
I got him at 7.5, and I don't know if I'm gonna say he's the Bills' leading sack leader. I mean, I would pray that this year would be Ed Oliver's year to lead the team in sacks. I don't know if it's gonna happen. Yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen, but Greg may lead the team in sacks, and I'm hoping you get another 6.5 for Epinesa. And yeah, I do think that Rousseau is going to be a generational pass rusher. He just has traits you can't teach.
Yeah, I agree, but not in the first year is my point.
Why not? I mean, why can't he make an impact then? We didn't say 22 sacks, because I eventually think that Rousseau, if he keeps going the way he's going, he could be a 17 sack season guy.
In the future, I can agree with that.
But 7.5, that ain't too much to me. I mean, I think maybe because we've seen Jerry Hughes get his 5 for the last 6 years, so maybe 7.5. Maybe 7.5. It seems like a good number. I don't know.
Stop with the cheap shots, bro.
I didn't do it. It wasn't cheap shot.
Stop with the cheap shots, bro. Stop with the cheap shots.
That's pretty good out of your rookies. 8 to 10 sacks. That's pretty good out of your rookies.
All I'm saying is, I guess it's back to my original thesis, is that the Bills roster is built to say, hey, our pass rush is gonna eat pretty much every game. And Greg Rousseau is gonna be a big part of that. Because it's not Jerry Hughes anymore, it's gonna be Greg Rousseau. He's gonna be the guy. So this year, Super Bowl year, Greg Rousseau has to be the guy for the Bills essentially to win the Super Bowl. He got to be the guy on the D line.
He doesn't have to be the guy. We just need the D line to be competent.
They were competent last year.
No, they weren't.
From a pressure perspective, they weren't competent.
See, here you go with that damn word again.
We wasn't.
I know you don't want to hear it, but they were not.
We lost Shaq Lawson and we lost Jordan Phillips, so we had no continuity up front. Guys didn't trust each other. Guys didn't play with each other. So we had no preseason games. So that was doomed from the start. And that's Coach McDermott and Brandon Beane, they learned from that. If they had to go back and do that again, I'm quite sure that they probably would have re-signed Jordan Phillips or one or the other. Or not both. Just to keep that continuity together.
Based on what Jeremy said, based on what Jeremy liked, Jordan Phillips should have still been on the team because he got all the sacks.
I never said Jordan Phillips would be on the team. I said Jordan Phillips got a lot of cover sacks. But the plan, to Mookie's point, Jordan knew where Shaq or whoever he was playing with was going to force the quarterback.
I would have kept Jordan Phillips rather than bring in Starler too.
I probably could agree with that.
He had nice sacks. I'm keeping him. I'm not. He earned that $10-11 million. You gave it to Starler too. Are they the same way? So why
Starter didn't even earn that when we gave it to him. He hadn't earned that at all.
6'5", 340 pounds with a motor like that, give you 9 sacks, pushing the pocket like that. So now imagine another year with Ed Oliver next to that. Imagine Ed Oliver don't have no sophomore slump last year if Jordan Phillips is next to him and Starla Tulare opts out. You know, you don't bring in Quentin Jefferson and Vernon Butler. You know, you use that money somewhere else. You know, so they learned from that. That's why they said, you know what, let's just go ahead and patch it up front with a young guy, and we don't have to worry about it the next 4 to 5 to 6 years, because that's Boogie, Ed, and Rousseau to, you know, lead that charge for the next 5 to 6 years.
I don't know, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting, man. I mean, but I thought this was a good show. You know, we got into a little bit. It was a little late. Thank you for everybody who stayed up late with us tonight and tuned in. Make sure if you didn't already, like and share the show. Subscribe on YouTube, like on Facebook. Share to your personal profile so people get to know who the hell
So
we
do
are.
we get predictions now? You know what I mean? Since, you know, this is
yeah. What kind of prediction you want? The season? You want the game prediction? What you wanted? Because usually I'm not gonna get you do the game prediction because you usually do that on the Saturday night tailgate. I ain't gonna take that prediction. Y'all be having bets.
All right, I'm gonna say the Bills win.
All right, they better.
Yeah. I say the Bills win and they score at least 40.
Okay. At least for 40? Okay, we're going to the Palace of Points again, huh?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say the Bills should win. I think we should win this one by at least 17. That's no disrespect. That's no disrespect to Pittsburgh. I don't mean no disrespect to Pittsburgh, but at some point, I mean, they're gonna go too close to a rebuild, and I think this may be the year. But I mean, but Mike Tomlin, no, nothing against him, man. Good coach. I just think that Big Ben got an old arm. You got a shuffled up, messed up offensive line. You lost Bud Dupree. You got your best pass rusher in a contract dispute. You don't know if he's playing. It's a lot going on over there right now. But hey, thank you guys for coming on tonight. My man Mookie Hawkins, my man EJ Daniels. We'll probably catch you next Tuesday. Make sure that y'all in Buffalo, there's gonna be a lot of things going on. Like I said, don't forget about the Mafia Party on Friday night at Soho in Buffalo, hosted by Aaron Williams. 5 hours open bar, well drinks. That is not top shelf premium liquor. Do not come in here trying to get no Ciroc, some Grey Goose, because it ain't gonna happen. You're gonna be paying up charge for them. You know it now. So that's the disclaimer. Make sure on Thursday night they actually got a party at 500 Pearl. Mini signing with Daryl Talley and Thurman Thomas. And then Saturday night, the Bills Mafia Bays and my man Jay Spencer went into Buffalo Rumblings and Poncho's Army. They got a skate party at an Orchard Park over there. So make sure, man, it's gonna be a lot of things to do, man. But either way, if whatever you're doing, stay safe. And I'll be in town this week. So man, let's get up, everybody. Let's get out. So, hey, as always, thanks for tuning in. This is it's nothing personal with JTM Just Business. I don't have a rant tonight, man. So it's nothing personal there. I'll be back Tuesday. It'll be something personal by Tuesday. So I'll catch y'all later.